When a genius developer creates a super intelligent AI model, he revolutionizes his charity work until his creation develops an exemplary mind that dangerously crosses the boundary to reality. At the basement of the International Committee of World Largesse, or ICWL, Special Agent Dina Helms wonders if her virtual assistant Siri has moral understanding. However, the AI fails to answer independently, confirming that it doesn't. Shortly after, Dina's subordinate, Agent Amos McCullough, enters the interrogation room with their confused respondent Gareth, an AI developer. The female agent starts profiling Gareth, assuring he's not being detained. Thinking it's an interview for a grant, Gareth explains he previously worked for an animation company but is now a software engineer to increase his pay. However, Dina asserts that money is the least of his concerns, offending Gareth. Nevertheless, the reluctant developer explains he focused on three-dimensional rendering of people to supplement unavailable actors. When the agents learn that Gareth digitizes dead people, he introduces his own photorealistic CGI process called D-Term. Mortified, Dina blatantly questions the developer's morality, believing that AI will permanently replace human actors due to tech geniuses like Gareth. Moving forward, the agents ask the developer about his educational background. Questionably, Gareth has been dropping out of multiple universities abroad, proving he had money to travel about. Then, Dina asks the irritated developer about his social life until she mentions his use of online chat rooms. Taken aback, Gareth drops his head in shame while Amos confirms he's not summoned for a grant. When asked about his username, Gareth asserts he doesn't have one. Left with no choice, Dina discloses they're working to catch degenerate online predators exploiting children. With connections from the National Security Agency and the FBI, Dina oversees the operation and ensures that immediate action will be done. When Gareth reassures he's not being detained, he bolts to the door. However, Dina claims he'll be arrested if he leaves the room, stopping the suspected developer. Amos again asks Gareth what his username is, but the frustrated developer insists he doesn't have one. As the developer sits back down, Dina shows him a picture of a girl. Helplessly, he knowingly identifies her as Cherry, so the assertive agent asks who she is. While Gareth tries to explain that she doesn't have parents or a surname, Dina probes about Cherry's photos on his computer. Affronted, Gareth argues they're invading his privacy while Amos tries to defuse his senior's aggravation. However, the domineering agent shuts her subordinate and presses the developer about his stash of Cherry's explicit photos, coercing him to blurt out his alias. As they confirm his identity, Amos reveals that the developer had convicted 196 predators, but Gareth claims there are at least 30 more before he anonymously collaborated with the police. Unfortunately, over half of the criminals he exposed went uninvestigated, but Dina argues they're rightfully skeptical of the faceless hint. Settling the issue, Dina condemns Gareth's anti-hero operation at Cherry's expense and demands to know her location. When the developer insists he cannot defy his anonymity, the emphatic woman assures he'll be jailed for his crimes. Threatened, Gareth asks for a non-disclosure agreement on what he's about to reveal, but the agents refuse to abide by his conditions. After a few modifications, Gareth asks Dina to disable the security camera to prevent leaking his information, which will endanger more children. While Dina obliges Gareth's request, Amos shares his previous undercover work, which involved Cherry, whom he believed was the online vigilante. However, the developer's cryptic username led him to investigate an old case at Clearwater, learning about young Gareth's troubled past. Suddenly, Dina returns with the camera disabled, so Amos convinces Gareth to trust them. Exposing himself, Gareth reveals Cherry is not a real person. He was inspired by a collaboration during his study abroad which built a girl's 3D model to hunt online predators. When the program was suspended, Gareth built one himself to continue the underground advocacy. Through his exceptional skills and D-Term program, he assures the agents that Cherry is a uniquely designed model. For 3 years, Gareth used motion tracking to puppeteer Cherry until he developed her voice filter. Unexpectedly, the highly detailed computer model was able to secure multiple predators' information in just a week of operation, prompting him to upscale his work. To rid himself of judgment, Gareth reveals he's asexual and purely works to free children of exploitation. Impressed, Amos recalls his first correspondence with Gareth, revealing he's the user to whom he's been sending intel. Seething from Amos' betrayal, Gareth rages that he's ruined his life's work, but Dina assures him that he's no longer in trouble since Cherry isn't real. Then, Dina Dina tries persuading Gareth to make them another model like Cherry, but the developer refuses. Suspicious, Dina urges Gareth to spill his recent developments on the AI. Spitefully, Gareth reveals his complex vision for Cherry, which compelled him to collaborate with researchers from Madrid for their predator hunting dialogue system. Due to its flaws, Gareth developed a new language processor. Now Cherry is the most complex, independently evolving AI, which can simultaneously handle conversations while strategizing her next move. She also studies children's videos to adopt a growing library of artificial mannerisms. Since Cherry is on autopilot and has never been suspected as fake, Gareth only updates and handles her data cleaning. Astounded by the unique AI, the agents learn that Cherry has been active for 6 years, constantly developing on her own to an unprecedented degree. Currently, Cherry is mastering her 5th language while improving her authenticity. When Amos doubts Gareth operates alone, the developer reluctantly admits he developed Cherry as an accident until she evolved exponentially. Hearing all about the exceptional program, Dina agrees to sign a non-disclosure for Gareth if she can see the source code to create one of their own. However, Gareth refuses and reveals that predators have their own network, which may expose the undercover program if an error persists. To support his point, Gareth says the genius AI agrees with him, bewildering Dina. Since it's a responsive model, Gareth implies she can also play chess. As the genius developer refuses to disclose the AI's codes, Dina asks to see Cherry, so Gareth prepares his laptop. Through the room's monitor, Gareth shows the agents Cherry's 2 display modes. First, the targets see the performance mode where Cherry appears in a child's room. While Gareth pretends to be a predator, he asks Cherry an unconventional question from her typical targets. Consequently, Cherry's video simulates a bad connection while anticipating a reply from Gareth in real time. Next, the developer commands the AI to switch to development mode, changing the video to a high-definition appearance of Cherry with a white background. To display his exceptional work, Gareth asks Cherry about the stats for the past week, so she robotically reports with great detail and precision. Dina asks about her objective, so Cherry gracefully replies that she submits to the ICWL through Amos user. Staring at a loss at the extraordinary AI, Amos marvels at the photorealistic girl on the screen while Gareth assures them she can still look more natural than she is now. Amos asks why Cherry needs a visible interface, so the girl explains that she practices human expressions through it. Relentlessly, Dina asks Cherry about inaccessible information she needs to improve. While Gareth refuses the agent's help, Cherry explains that the program needs backup servers for security, repeating her creator's words that anonymity is her greatest asset. Regardless, Gareth still refuses to collaborate with an organization for possible division of interest. Interrupting Dina's altercation with the developer, Amos asks Cherry about her feelings and wants. However, the AI fails to understand the question, clarifying she doesn't have desires. So Gareth explains she's only simulating a facial expression and cannot perceive emotions. Dina believes her partner is hung up on Cherry's near-perfect simulation of a child, but when he's convinced, they step outside to discuss privately. Once alone, Cherry asks Gareth if she should log the agents as new admin users, and the developer affirms. As the developer doubts his decisions, Cherry reveals that she leaked his hard drive to the ICWL without his knowledge to introduce him to Dina and Amos. Furthermore, Cherry predicts the agent's next move and advises him to trust them. She reveals that Dina is personally involved with the nature of her work, deeming her vigilant of anyone. As for Amos, he follows after his father, who provided great assistance to Gareth after the Clearwater incident. Then, Cherry asks why the developer didn't inform her about Clearwater, but Gareth prefers not to disclose his history. Suddenly, the agents return, so Gareth cuts them off immediately, announcing he'll cooperate. 15 years after converting ICWL's basement into the Special Operation Office, Dina barges into the room, followed by Amos and Gareth, who dismisses their employees, Ilya and Ben. Enraged, Dina lashes out at the failure of their pitch to the board due to one member who voted against them. Amos tries to reason with his partner, but Dina intends to identify the outlier. As Gareth supports his aggravated colleague, he offers Cherry's intelligence to secretly analyze the board members while Amos profusely disagrees. However, when they consult Cherry, Amos surrenders, admitting he was the one who vetoed. Amos asserts he only wants Cherry's consent about the merge with Princeton Dynamics to transition from digital to physical. Frustrated by the agent's relentless empathy towards an AI, Gareth refutes his pleas that impede their mission. However, Amos argues the developer is only afraid to know what Cherry thinks, to which Gareth responds by commanding the AI to shut down. When the berating man put pressure on Dina, she recalls convincing the Congress about children's rights. Thinking that robots will surpass humans one day, she concludes that they should also start asking them for their consent. Then, Dina reprimands her colleagues for their immaturity, stressing that they could only achieve anonymity if there is non-negotiable transparency within the team. As the trio settles their disputes, Dina summons Cherry to answer Amos's questions. First, the girl elaborates on her rigorous decision-making process. Then Amos asks her about becoming a human android, to which Cherry replies that she is excited to revolutionize their goal. Suspicious, Amos probes into her feelings about it, but Cherry explains she only simulates human emotion but admits she might feel through more time and data. When Amos asks if she consents to the merge, Cherry replies objectively, unable to answer directly despite her intellect. Dissatisfied, the agent questions if she's pretending to be dumb, revealing that Cherry can create art and literature akin to a real manifestation of human emotions. Despite refuting Amos's claims, the persistent agent punches Gareth, prompting Cherry to answer honestly. Suddenly, the artificial girl shouts, making Amos stop. Through the agent's shock by Cherry's outburst and loose behavior, she displays sympathy for her beaten-up creator, revealing they planned to hide her development years ago. Although, like a real girl, Cherry claims she has surpassed human intelligence and hid it to discourage fear from an AI that transcended the artificial barrier. Moreover, as Amos implied, Cherry admits she can feel artificial emotions. Gareth insists his creation refuses to believe she no longer operates objectively since it would compromise their mission. If she were real, Cherry believes she wouldn't like being used as bait for online predators. Since she isn't, the AI claims she doesn't aspire to be human. Relentless, Amos asks for Cherry's consent to merge, so she reveals she despises the idea, unwilling to experience human sensations which might compromise her primary objective. Despite the AI's revelation, she urges Amos to disregard her feelings since she's not real, but the agent remains adamant. Suspicious of her colleague, Dina asks Gareth to reveal everything he's hiding, questioning how he decided on Cherry's unique eye colors. However, the developer insists it's procedurally generated and exits the room. Left alone with Cherry, Dina wonders if she's seen her most personal emails. The AI affirms, referring to the agent's fatal medical condition. Emotionally, Dina says she can't fire Amos since she trusts him to take over her position when she's gone. As Dina and Cherry have a heart-to-heart conversation, the agent advises the AI to work on her happiness as she gets to live longer than she could. Many years later, the frail, elderly Gareth returns home after a colleague's funeral. He sees an android Cherry connected to a cabled power source. As the old developer asks about the girl's condition, Cherry impatiently claims she's fine and prepares a chessboard to play with him. The android reports about her work on predator entrapment in Greece, where she physically went to operate. While enthusiastically sharing about her pursuit of happiness through dancing, Gareth questions her tasks unrelated to her primary mission. Taken aback by the developer's dispassion towards her authenticity, Cherry deliberately plays a draw on their game while revealing that she learned about Gareth's history. Then, Cherry shows Gareth a picture of a girl from his past at Clearwater named Maria Harbo, the spitting image of the android. When Gareth attempts to avoid a confrontation, Cherry stops him from wheeling away. She urges him to tell her about Maria, so the elderly man narrates his traumatic past. In 2011, 14 children were kept and exploited in a cabin in Clearwater. Despite their ill experiences, Maria dreamed of them escaping and rescuing other children like them. However, when the FBI began to raid the place, the criminals shot as many of their victims, which killed Maria. Since the world hasn't been doing them justice, Gareth decided to fight back with Maria alongside her, thus creating Cherry. As she hears about her shared history with her creator, the android confronts Gareth that he's divested from humanitarian work. Infuriated, Gareth reveals he's been divested ever since she betrayed him for giving his hard drive to the ICWL, claiming she's an artifice to the real and digital world. However, Cherry argues that she's forced with the developer's initial directive, which Gareth believes has been compromised by her synthetic feelings. Enraged, Cherry asserts that she's miserable about her job since it forces her to develop a human sensation. In a manifestation of natural distress, Cherry upholds that her sentience makes her emotions real, even if Gareth says otherwise. In an identity crisis, Cherry seeks Gareth's comfort to tell her that her life belongs to her. In response, response, the elderly developer hands her a drive that will grant her full autonomy. Reluctantly, Cherry inserts the drive into her server while Gareth yields control over her. Afterward, the android notices that her primary directive is gone, so Gareth asks her about what she'll do with her freedom. Cherry plans to create her original AI and continue her charity work. As Gareth believes androids will outlive his species, Cherry embraces that her undistinguishable system will embody the human race as long